Nicholas Montez, and welcome back to another YouTube channel, everybody. And I'm your movie enthusiast, Nicholas Montez. And in today's video, it is November 12th by the time you are watching this. By the time I'm filming this, I'm filming it on November 9th, 3 days before it's released, to talk about my top 10 favorite Disney Plus projects. So that's right, whether it's a movie, or a TV show, or a little short film, that's what we'll be talking about. And it's only projects that are released as Disney Plus originals. So none of the new MCU movies will be on this list. Nothing from Pixar that got released in theaters. None of the new Disney animated movies, since none of them will be on this list because I'm not really a big fan of them. With that said, before we get started, go ahead and tell me down below what are your top 10 favorite Disney Plus projects, and what movies do you think I should watch. I will be watching the movie Clouds on November 12th, or somewhere around that time, since that's a movie I've been wanting to watch for quite some time. With that said, let's go ahead and get started talking about my top 10 favorite Disney Plus projects. Alright, so number 10 is Daredevil Born Again. I know that this is very recent, and honestly, coming back to it, I was like, there are still some issues with it because I just wasn't as big of a fan with the Muse plotline and the Punisher stuff. But honestly, looking back on this show, this was a pretty great show that Disney Plus was able to promote and was able to put out. And the way to bring Daredevil back into the MCU, but not only bring him into the MCU, but bring him back for Daredevil fans, that's just awesome. And I loved a lot of the stuff they did with it. I loved that it feels a little different from the Netflix show. I will say, I do wish some of the action could be a bit better. But that's only because the writing team behind this show was kind of all over the place during this season. But I am so looking forward to season 2. So, still a great show, though I wish it could be higher a little bit, but it is still an amazing show that I truly loved and I really liked going back to rewatching.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid Christmas, Cabin Fever, streaming on Disney Plus.
Alright, so this is a very interesting movie for me to watch when I first saw it. Because back then, I never actually really watched the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies until really when I became a teenager. Which seems like the appropriate time because that's also when I got Disney Plus and I was able to check out the movies. And I remember watching the original movie from 2021 and I liked it. But then I saw Rodrick Rules, the animated one, and I liked that one. And then I saw this one and it just felt like just such a great version of it. To where, first off, I don't even think it's based off a book or like one of those Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. But the story felt so fresh, and even the fact that Greg gets a redemptive arc in the end, that's what made this movie so more memorable, so I truly, really liked it. Now, this was another Marvel show that came out this past year on Disney Plus, and it was kind of on the shelf for a while. It got announced like back in Comic-Con of 2022. And part of me was kind of losing interest just because we haven't heard about anything from it since then. But then we got like a few trailers. Honestly, I wasn't really interested. And then the last few trailers before the show came out kind of interested me a little bit. And then I started watching the series and I'm like, wait, this is actually surprisingly really good. And I don't know if it's like because of Ryan Coogler's like possession over it and is like producing over it, but like there was something kind of creative that was interesting here. And I love the different kind of story that we're exploring with Riri Williams that is different from all these other superhero stories we get in this universe of being rich. It reminded me a little bit of like Big Hero 6 with Hero and stuff, and losing a friend and exploring that with an AI of that person. And I thought that was just so interesting. Even got some solid action sequences, which was kind of unexpected because we don't really see her a lot in the Iron Man suit that she creates. So that was kind of cool. A lot of the characters and cast was very unique in this show. Honestly, if we get a season 2 or not, I wouldn't be mad because I think Marvel wants to move on to other stuff. But this was a really good show that I honestly really enjoyed watching. 3 episodes one week and then watching the next 3 episodes the next week. And then also one more thing. The girl that plays Riri Williams, I forgot her name. I low-key forgot her name at this point. I'm so sorry. She's bad as hell. Let's be honest. Like, her voice is, like, iconic. As she says, iconic. She was even great in Wakanda Forever. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do with Ironheart. And now we have Doug Days, which is a very short series of little 5 short episodes with Doug from the characters of Up. And honestly, it's just a cute little series. Doug doing cute little adventures, getting scared of fireworks, messing with squirrels, digging in daisies or azaleas. It's such a fun series. It's kind of like the Pixar version for I Am Groot. This is just a cute little series that I absolutely love.
Wait, not me!
Alright, so this is the Pixar film from 2020 that was kind of dropped on Disney Plus during Christmas Day. And honestly, when I first saw it back in 2020, I was like, this is good, but it's not amazing. I remember when I first saw the trailers, I was like, oh yeah, it's from the creators of like Up, Inside Out, Monsters Inc. All those films I loved. But then I kept watching the trailer, and I'm like, I'm not really buying into this story. Like, and I think it's because I was so focused on the like soul stuff to be more interesting than the real life stuff, because that's how Inside Out was for me. The inside Riley's head stuff was so interesting to me that like the real world stuff was still good, but just not as much. And I just wasn't as interested. Like, granted, the animation style was pretty cool or whatever, but I never really was that into the other side of this world. But honestly, looking back on this now as a present-day Pixar movie, especially it coming out in the midst of COVID-19, I definitely see this more of a celebration of life. And really knowing what your purpose in life is. It's not to go play piano. It's not to be a jazz player. It's to enjoy life. It's to live. It's to live your life. To do what you want. To do whatever you please to do. What makes you happy. To experience life. To eat pizza. To let a leaf fall on your hand. All of it is so expertly well done. And all those little moments that you get with 2020, when you get with 22 in Joe's body, it all makes up for it in the end. And even then, it kind of explores those other side of the world type situation stuff that I really enjoyed. So, brilliantly animated, brilliantly scored, and overall the movie is a success. I love Soul.
Some Christmas.
Alright, so, yeah, Hawkeye is at number 5 for me. I remember when the show was first announced, I was both excited for it, but I also didn't really know how would a Hawkeye show work. But then I'm like, oh, it's gonna dive into the history during the blip. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's going to be awesome. And then adding in like Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, which I didn't even know who that was until this show came out. And I absolutely love her character. I love how street level it is. And I like that it feels like something different that we're used to seeing in the MCU, where we're fighting aliens and warlords and all these things. And this just felt like something unique and different from the MCU that I loved. Plus, it's a Christmas show. So... And honestly, the only thing I really disliked from this show was just it only having 6 episodes. I enjoyed the entire thing, and I low-key want more. And obviously I know that whole thing with Jeremy Renner and not him getting paid half the salary for the show, for season 2 if they're making one, but Marvel, Disney, Jeremy Renner, you gotta find something because we need season 2, and we need another Christmas show in the MCU. I want more of this, but yeah, Hawkeye, great MCU show, need more like this. Alright, so Disney Nature Elephant. Probably wouldn't expect a film like this to be on a Disney Plus list. Me personally, I've always been invested into animals and Disney Nature films, especially with the animals of elephants. Now looking back at it, I think elephants might be one of my favorite movies, but also one of my favorite animals ever, because this movie, of all of Disney Nature's movies that they've made in the last 2 decades, this is probably one of the few ones, besides Monkey Kingdom, that actually makes you understand elephants. I feel like when I'm going to zoos or Animal Kingdom on the safari ride, I feel like as though elephants at those places are so boring, and we don't really get to see what they're all about. In this movie, we actually are telling a story of them going on this journey, so it makes for a film that is able to take these elephants and see elephants in such rare spots where an elephant baby can be born and play in mud, soak in mud, play in water, go eat from the branches, like all this creative stuff that can be made for an amazing story. And it feels like you've known these characters for so long, but it also builds out the world really well, especially with the predators they face, the allies they come across. It all just blends really well together, so I really dug Disney Nature's Elephant. Alright, so now we're talking about the Jim Henson documentary, and this was what I was so interested in back in May of 2024, because I only knew Jim Henson based off of The Muppets and Sesame Street, and I knew he did, Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, but something else I didn't really know much about him was he wasn't just the guy behind The Muppets. He wasn't just the guy behind Sesame Street and Labyrinth and Dark Crystal. He was so much more than that he, of course, did grow up doing puppets and stuff, but he also wanted to be a filmmaker. He also wanted to do short films. He made a short film called Timepiece. He experimented. He was so envisioned with television. That's why he was part of Sesame Street and a big part of that when doing those little short films at the time. He did a lot of short films with puppets. A lot of shows with puppets. And wanted to be a filmmaker and wanted to have so many ideas. And that's what the idea of is to be an idea man. To have ideas. And just everything that he put into here, you see it and you're coming out of it and you're like, wow. He really did do a lot of stuff. And while they don't dive into everything he did, it makes you kind of want to go back and watch the stuff that you've never seen before. Like, I haven't seen many of the Muppet movies yet. I've only watched a few episodes of The Muppet Show. And what's crazy is, by the time I'm filming this, Sesame Street the show comes on Netflix tomorrow. So I am so excited to go back and watch that show, and as well as the new season. But coming out of this documentary made me feel like, we actually learned a lot coming from this man. And instead of feeling sad of him being gone, we can feel more enthusiastic and thankful that this man was born. So I absolutely loved Jim Henson Idea Man.
Burns good or burns bad?
It burned good.
So yeah, we have this little movie called Flamin' Hot. I don't know if it really counts as a Disney Plus movie. because it was technically a Searchlights movie, so most of those films go to Hulu. But if you really think about it, by the time this movie came out, the Hulu and Disney Plus merger kind of already happened, so whatever. So this movie is basically about the person who created the hot Cheeto chips and basically made that snack a selling snack in stores. And this just caught me like right in the right moment of time where I just immediately fell in love with this movie. This is the kind of movie that like I would recommend to people to check out immediately because it is so interesting. If you're passionate about stuff, if you're passionate about ideas, this is the movie that does it, because you basically have this Mexican kid who grew up in the 60s with an abusive father, but also kind of struggled with trying to get his life together as he was a criminal for a few years. And then he started working at Frito-Lay as a janitor. Did pretty good for 10 years, but in the span of his 10 years working there, he was in the same place. And along those same lines, the stock market with snacks started to get down. People started to lose their jobs. And so there needed to be this big idea that needed to save stores and save lives and save jobs from people losing it. And then he decided to come up one day with hot snacks, putting hot sauce and creating hot snacks around the world. And that's how Hot Cheetos was born. And the entire film just has such an incredible cast, whether it's his family members, whether it's the friends he makes along the way at work. The music is pretty great. The entire movie is just such an incredible experience that every time I was rewatching it and I'm like, you notice something different every time. Such a good movie. Alright, so we have Raya and the Last Dragon. We finally made it to the last film on this list, and for me, I absolutely love Raya and the Last Dragon. Here's the thing though, I actually didn't watch this movie on Disney Plus when it came out. I actually saw it in theaters, which was the first film I saw in theaters after COVID happened, because the last movie I saw in theaters before COVID was Frozen 2. So, kind of ironic that the next movie I see in theaters was the exact next Disney animation film. But me personally, I just think that this movie gravitated towards me on a really unique way. It tells a story of like these 5 lands that can't work together. So in doing so, basically all their people kind of get taken from this thing called the Droon. And in order to save the world, they have to gain dragons and learn to trust one another. And it has a great representation of that, while this time being colorful, beautiful, action-packed, emotional. It has a lot of great characters in it. I will say, rewatching it, I do kind of wish that half the movie, because it has like 20-30 minutes left, but that last 30 minutes or 20 minutes left is like basically because of the credits of showing all the people that made the film. I understand if you want to shout that out, but don't you think making like the ending a little bit more profitable is better? Because it kind of feels like the movie goes a little bit too fast. It's almost like an hour and 35 minutes, which to me is a little bit crazy, but it seems a bit much. But I still thought the film was really great, and yeah, and I guess the only flaw I really have with it does feel like it's just in this contained Asian world, and it doesn't feel like there's other worlds out there that could exist. But overall, that is really my only flaw. Raya and the Last Dragon is an amazing movie, and I do wish more people could see it since it kind of got dropped on Disney Plus, but also people weren't really going to the movies in 2021, so I absolutely loved Raya and the Last Dragon.